Previously on Project Jude, I made an awesome climbing ability, which by the way I should mention is mainly driven by the Invector Climb on add-on. This dash thing, wow! And finally, a smash ground punch ability thing that is very buggy. So if you want to see a more in-depth look on how I did all of this, check out my previous video. Now today guys, we are in for a ride because I did a lot of work and boy oh boy, you're gonna hate it. I mean like it, yeah. So to start the week off, I decided to finally lift my ass off my chair and leave the house. And I mean, I saw so much. I straight up haven't sat indoors for so long that I forgot that other humans exist. So I went surfing with my boyfriend and sister because the UK was hot for once. And you know, it was great. There was water, there was sand, and there was a Karen, and I even got hit on the head by a 10-year-old. But actually, this is irrelevant. What I'm trying to say is that I've been pretty busy over the last 2 weeks, which is why this video is late. But I guess we should actually get into the development. So to begin this week, I actually went on YouTube and watched a bunch of Unity shader videos, because they look epic. I then tried to recreate some myself, and it took some time, like quite a bit of time, but after many hours I sort of learnt shader graph. I then wanted to make this wet shader where the floor looks wet, because when water touches something that is dry, it makes it wet. Brain power 100 right here. And I made this. I'm pretty happy with it, as there is a lot of things that you can change on it, like how wet it is, how many ripples there are, the speed, the reflectiveness, and all that shazam. After making the shader, I spent some time trying to fix some bugs in the game. Firstly, the shooting ability in my game wouldn't always shoot towards the raycast. Sometimes the projectile would travel behind the player's head for some reason. But after an hour or so, I fixed the bug. I also tried to make the smash ground ability less glitchy and laggy, but I didn't really succeed, so that will be moved for another day I guess. I then wanted to work on some really little things to make the game feel nicer, so I made some particles using the Unity particle system to represent some rocks. I then instantiated them at the player's feet whenever he lands after jumping or falling. It's a small little addition, but it really makes a difference in game. Then to make the jump feel even cooler, I added a sound effect after landing. This sort of tied everything together. After implementing this, I realized how much game feel sounds and particles add, and I will be adding lots of them in the near future, when the game is a little bit more finished. Alright guys, so the game is looking pretty cool at the moment. No bro, it doesn't. Well, what do you mean? What do you mean it looks bad? Well, it's just fucking shit. It's not satisfying, it doesn't look good, I don't even want to test it out because it's just so janky and everything. It literally sucks so bad, just as much as your career. Personally, I thought it looked pretty cool. I don't know about you, but like, I really liked it. Well, it f***ing isn't. Go on, tell me, how do I make this game better then? Well, kiddo. You need the help from the Spice Master. Who the hell is the Spice Master? Well, I'm the Spice Master, you know? I'm the Spice Master. You're the Spice Master. I swear you don't even like spicy food, it makes literally no sense. Dude, shut the f*** up, alright? No one cares about your irrelevant opinion. Also, just an FYI, I like spicy food, so yeah. Alright, guess it's time to show you the Spice Master, kiddo. Alright, let's spice it up, baby. Alright, that's it. It's time for me to go. Bye. Whew, I'm tired after that. Alright, so the Spice Master made the combat look a lot nicer. As you can see, there are some cool visual effects on the sword, which I made using shaders and particles. There is also some cool sword swipe sound effects. And some little zoom-ins. Pretty neat. Also, just an FYI, I'm going to be changing the last attack effect, because I don't like it. You what, bitch? But seriously, jokes aside, I really prefer this new look. It's just a lot cleaner and more satisfying. So you guys might already have noticed, but there has been some UI changes. We have a little map in the corner, and a power and health bar in the top left. So I got inspired, let's say, definitely not copied, Nier Automata's UI design. But I kind of like it. I think I'll change the colour to something darker to fit the theme, but overall the minimap is really useful. And for those wondering how I actually made the minimap, there is a tutorial on my second channel, and there will be a link in the description below, so go subscribe and go watch that video if you want to make a minimap just like me. But just to quickly tell you how it is made, I have the second camera, and I make a render texture out of it. I then put it on a raw image, and bam, that is basically my minimap. So last episode I got a ton of comments of you guys telling me to hide the sword when not attacking, and that is a great idea. I didn't have time to implement it in this week, but no worries, I will be adding it in. For now, whenever the player climbs, his sword is hidden, but I want to add proper animations and stuff. Okay, so with a lot done this week, I decided to tackle AI. A lot of you have been asking me to start working on it, so I have. I tried and tested out different methods and decided to rely on the Invector FSM AI system. Now here's the thing, the Invector AI system isn't great, at least for my standards and expectations. But I'm going to be using it as a base as it simplifies some interactions and settings with my player. What I'm saying is that I'm going to be changing a lot of the code and adding my own functions to suit my needs. And for those wanting to check it out, I'll leave a link in the description below. Bear in mind, I will be using different systems for other types of enemies, like bosses and NPCs. This is just for the simple enemies. So I created this simple AI with Invector, but straight away it wasn't looking or working how I wanted to. So I changed the attack detection system from the player to make it more optimized to different weapons and abilities. I also made it feel a bit nicer. I changed some animations as I didn't like the default ones, and now our AI detects player damage properly. But this didn't have too much game feel, so I added some simple blood particles when the enemy is hit. I also made sure to delete that particle once it's finished to not cause more lag. So it's looking alright, but it's still not feeling good. I decided to add some sounds which tied it all together. At this point, I needed to give my AI some weapons, or a method of attacking. Now thankfully, Invector makes this really simple, so I used the basic pistol and set it up with the enemy. I also had to set up the detection, so that the enemy sees and attacks my player. Once again, pretty simple. Okay, so currently our player can die from the enemy, but it just looks bad. So to make it better, I wanted to add a visual indicator that the player is getting hit. So I drew up a simple damage image in Photoshop and imported it in. I've set it up so when the player is hit, it disappears and slowly fades out. This is 10 times more better than not having it in the first place, because it's a nice visual indicator to the player that they're getting hit. Now a cool thing that Second Son accomplishes is when the player's HP is low, the screen turns grey and sounds sound more muted. And I personally really like this idea, so I wanted to create my own in my game. So I made a little post-processing effect that turns the screen to grey and adds a vignette around it. Then using an if statement, if the player's HP is lower than 30%, this image is instantiated, and then destroyed when the HP is above 30%. Now I'm not gonna lie, this is very useful. It's a nice visual way of demonstrating to the player that the HP is low. I haven't done the sound muting thing yet though, as I don't have many sounds in my games, so it would be really stupid to set it up now. I then decided to change some enemy sound effects to make them sound a little better. I prefer the new ones I picked rather than the default ones. Okay, so something that I should point out is that the AI isn't finished. There are still lots of things that I have to work on and change. Firstly, the AI sometimes doesn't know how to walk around a wall, so I'm gonna have to fix that. Plus, there's plenty of other bugs that are with the AI, but don't worry, I will be fixing it among the next episodes. Alright, so I actually then spent an hour or so trying to optimize the game a little better. I wanted to increase the player's FPS as much as possible. With that, I also continued to fix some bugs. At this point, I got really inspired, so I drew up a custom weapon in Photoshop that I will be making for my game. After spending some time drawing this, I imported it into Blender and began to model the gun. Now, I can't show you how it looks as it's not finished, but here is the finished sketch of the model. And that is all I did this week. But before I go and end this video, I want to clarify something. The story of the game. It took me a while to try and formulate an intriguing story, so here it is very briefly explained. You, aka the player, were born with special powers, but this military group/regime is looking for children with those powers. So when you were young, you were taken from your original family. Now over the years, you were growing up at this military base getting trained to be a soldier. At one point, which I won't spoil, you escaped this base. Now all your life, you've only known that military base, and you treat it as your home. And you have no recollections or memories of your past. So you go out to explore and uncover your past life and family. And this is where it's up to you, the player. If you want to fight all the time, you can do that, or if you want to explore, you can as well. There will be fighting and necessary fights in the game, but you can avoid some unnecessary fights and do more of the exploration. Now the reason I did this is because not everyone likes to mash the buttons and fight all the time. Some people might prefer the exploration part of the game. So I decided to make it up to the player on what they want to do. Now I am going to say there is going to be some fights which are mandatory, but other than that, you can explore the game all the way through. And just an FYI, you can explore and fight at the same time, you don't have to do either. But I'm just saying the player has a choice, which I think is a lot better. And yeah, that is the story, guys. So, first of all, I hope you enjoy the story. I will still be kind of changing it as I go along. And also, if you've enjoyed this video, leave a fat thumbs up, comment down below if you have any suggestions, and subscribe. I really appreciate your support, guys, so thank you so much for watching this video. And I just want to say a quick thank you to my Patreons, Yan, Smokin' Vita, Nicole Dans, and Noob. Thank you so much for your support, you really helped me out with everything. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!